9. And it says I am live right now. I can't. There's a delay. That's why I always do this. If you're wondering, am I live? And oh, you heard me counting. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, Sinram, Nathaniel Foga, Cornbread, K-Master, Mblood T, Austin, Zodberg, Ryan Walterson. I saw the thing. Will he start on time? And then I was like, I'm going to start early to mess up his schedule. And then I didn't. Ashley R, hello. Hello, everyone. Did I get everyone? I said Sinram, Cornbread, Mblood T, Jordan. How's it going, man? Purple Goop, Adrian Drizzle. Sorry. I think that's everyone. If I missed you, speak up as I'm scrolling through. Ooh, Elwood DD. Hello. Don't forget to send out the tweet. Thank you. I want to thank you guys for keeping me. Thank you for keeping everything running because I've been getting a lot of nice reminders and I really actually don't mind it. Hello, the Gin Corporated, I guess. Major Mekazawa, by the way, did you see your call out in the Transformers review? I'm curious about that. I actually fell asleep during the premiere last night. So everyone like, where does he go? I fell asleep. But anyway, I hope everyone is doing well. Let's just switch over. Did you say hi to your Dark City DVD? Yes, I did. I don't know what. Did someone reference that again? I'm lost. Okay. Anyway, let me go over. Hello. Welcome to this. We're in this place this time. Shock of all shocks. I'm not good at pronouncing it. Also, anyway, thank you. So that is actually why this is a little late. Sophie had to do stuff with her tooth and get ready for the tooth fairy, and I was like, I don't really want to rush this, so I was just like, fuck it, this is late, basically. I didn't really want to rush that kind of childhood thing in my mind. Hello, Jordan Salafalo. So that was my decision behind that. So I hope you're cool with that. And hello, JJ Panda. Hello, Gary. There we go. I didn't know he was here. And we were just talking about the Dark City DVD. Coincidentally, I didn't bring it up. Did you say I do the haunted doll I got you from Zach Brackett's Haunted Mansion? I love that. Yes. Anyway, so it's been a week. Not a good weekend for Flash or Elemental. Very true. We will talk about those things tonight. And I do have thank you for the Happy Father's Day. And I do have the energy drink. I think I said what it was going to be last time, if anyone remembers. But we'll see if we're right. And I'll tell a story behind getting it. Yeah. Oh, thank you for all the Happy Father's Day stuff. I will actually be I might try not to post anything past the stream tomorrow. Kind of want to just hang out with my family and have a bunch of beers that night. So that's kind of my plans for Father's Day. Although we are seeing Elemental. I got everyone tickets to Elemental. It'll be Oscar's first movie, actually. So, yeah. Major Mekazawa, did you see the transfer? Okay, just in time. I was getting ready to have some pizza for the show. I really want to know if Major Mekazawa saw. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's not that I want to be appreciated. I'm just like, do they know? That's all. I'm sorry. I need to walk away from that. What? Okay, Austin did. So I will show off the shit right here. Hold on. It is, yes. I got Prime. I got it from Target today. I'm going to try it. It is the Tropical Punch. But Austin said, I mentioned during last night's Transformers review, how could two movies this summer reference Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch? What's the other one? Austin, tell me what the other... What is the other one? Was it Spider-Man? Was it? Anyway, I'm going to try this as a live reaction. Never tried it. Look at it has black there. It's all... Anyway, whatever. It tastes very similar to. Oh, it's vegan. On the side it says caffeine, zero sugar, electrolytes, vegan. Cool. What is the other one? Now I'm confused. Was it in Guardians of the Galaxy? Oh, he missed the shout out. It's okay. What was the other one? Fast X. Oh, John Cena. Oh my God. How did I miss that? Okay. Sorry, Austin. The thing with, yeah. So when I went to get, people are right. It is kind of tasty. Put it back here. The thing with it is I went to Target. Can I put that more? Okay. When I went to Target, it's back there as a reminder. So if you give me a super chat, I will keep drinking it. Give me energy and all that stuff. And thank you very much, Austin, for that. And thanks for the reminder. I forgot about two Marky Mark references. Is he still sensitive about that? Does anyone remember? I remember seeing live that Total Request Live where him and Eminem were on, and Eminem kept saying, like, we're all just a big, funky bunch right here. And, like, Marky Mark, or Mark Wahlberg, I'm sorry, looks so offended. How does he feel about that? And what happened to the Funky Bunch? Has anyone made that video? I would be curious. Yeah, what else was I going to say? Oh, one thing, and I'll hype this up, because I think I need to hype it up to explain why it's a big deal for me, I guess. Or sort of a big deal, not that big of a deal. I'm actually going to be reviewing Last Action Hero. I'm not sure when that review will come out, because there's so many new releases, but I've actually not seen that movie, despite the fact I saw Jurassic Park in theaters. No, it's in the video. Major Mike is out. I'm sorry. Now I feel stupid. So I didn't see A Last Action Hero in theaters. I saw Jurassic Park, and I've never seen it, and I realized I hadn't seen it. And I think I thought maybe I should. I think Casper was the first movie I saw to make a Marky Mark joke. Interesting. So I thought it'd be cool to review it. So I will be doing a review of Last Action Hero, but it'll be from the perspective of like having seen it once, not like I did a review of Jurassic Park like years ago when Jurassic World came out. I'd seen Jurassic Park. Most people have seen Jurassic Park a million times, but yeah. Let's see. Oh, Gary said the Funky Bunch still tours with MC Scat Cat. There's actually a cartoon cat joke in Last Action Hero, by the way, which I appreciated. I heard Destiny is predicting Mark and the Funky Bunch. That's amazing. Jen Corber said, "Do you think Creech would see Elemental or Flash?" I'm gonna say he would. Well, that's a tough one because they're weird creatures in Elemental, but I think I think he would maybe see the Flash. I think I would go with the Flash because that's a disaster, and I know Creech loves disasters. Sid Ram says Joseph Gordon-Levitt reignited my non-existent love for Good Vibrations. Was that from Don Juan? Was that in that one? Now I'm wondering where that was from. I am doing Gremlins 2, Mr. Walterson. Don't you worry. I was just like, it's been 30 years, and it's about to come out on the anniversary. I should, but don't worry. I was thinking, who should Last Action Hero should have been directed by, and it was the director of Gremlins 2. But don't worry, that is coming as well. Cheers to you, Sinram, for saying, I think it's Don Juan. Is that true? Yeah. Will we ever see the Cleese Spider Sonar? Probably not. Incorporated. All right. I don't think there's anything else to add, other than there won't be anything, but there will probably be a video on maybe Monday. I have like a little Pixar block, and there's a Pixar thing tonight. Yes, Don Juan. I thought it was Don Juan. I reviewed that way back in the day. It's interesting. You'd think he'd direct more stuff, but has not. But I got the reference. I'm proud of myself. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, there will be a bunch of stuff next week, and kind of a block of Pixar we're reviewing tonight. I'm reviewing the Pixar movie Cloudy, whatever it was, I forget. It's in my notes. The Peter Son who directed Elemental's other Partly Cloudy, the other thing, and as well as DC's World's Funniest from Aardman, and those will be separate things later. But yeah, we have a bunch to get through. So let's get into it. I guess with it being 15 minutes later, man, I don't even know. We're just going to do, maybe we'll run long tonight. I don't know. I get to sleep in tomorrow because it's Father's Day. So I'm going to take advantage of that, I guess, by sleeping less. Wait, that doesn't work. All right. So is there anything else to add? I don't think there is. I should move on with the show, probably. Except that I want to say you guys have all been really nice, and I really thank you all for that. And for generally just being cool. And also, if you were here, before I get into the plugs and stuff, if you were here because of a sticker or a flyer, say hey, thank you for being here. It's really appreciated. That seems to be going really well. I've been trying to retweet and reshare people who say, hey, I've checked this out from there. Oh, now I remember. This is it. On my review of Ishtar, Adrian Sierra, I believe, came back and saw Ishtar and rewrote a really long comment. So I actually appreciate if anyone feels that way about a movie and wants to come back and do a comment like that. I thought that was really cool. I actually haven't commented on that, but because I wanted to really, maybe I'll do that tonight. But check out the review of Ishtar for specifically that comment. Or if you see Ishtar, it's kind of not as bad as people, especially if you know what it's based on. The road movies, which I was reviewing, I did a review series at the time. But yeah, Adrian Sierra just came back to Ishtar. I love that. I thought that was really cool. So I need to comment on that. But yeah, if you know the road movies, it makes Road to El Dorado better and that better. And Ishtar's pretty cool. But Road to Morocco is, by the way, probably one of the greatest comedies of all time and maybe one of the greatest movies of all time. Well, excuse me, Princess. All right, so if you like this, and anything I do is supported by you, the fans, obviously, because no sponsors ever really worked out for me. But also because that is true. I'm supported 100% by the fans, either through during the show, where I drink this delicious drink of, I don't know which Paul brother, but one of them made, I think, maybe, I don't really know. But that helps the show if you do a super chat, and I'll drink it and read out your thing. As well as my Patreon, where I have all sorts of cool things where you have more power in the movie review vote. You actually learn who wins and the totals in advance. I have things coming out like the movie review vote winners will come out on Monday, and there's going to be a Knock Force commentary. I do commentaries on old Knock Force cartoons as well as my old videos, and that's a series going. You get postcards. You get, when Film Rock Video comes out, you get those 24-hour... you get those 24 hours in advance. You get all sorts of cool stuff, and it helps me promote this show, either through the stickers, actually, that I post up. It helps me get new equipment. It literally and actually helps me make this channel bigger and helps it grow. So if you like this stuff and want to help support, it will actually go back into that. And I always also really appreciate it because it just makes this easier. And, you know, the more... If you are financially able to do so, I really, really very much appreciate it. If you're able to do so through the Patreon or a super chat during the show or whichever. But just watching, I appreciate you for just being here, liking this. If you're not subscribed, all that stuff. But if you're financially able to do so, thank you very much for doing that. But yeah, if you subscribe to the channel, you get things like community posts where we do throwback videos. I know we post those other places, but there's all sorts of different stuff you get from that. And also, you know, when the videos are coming out. Alex G. Raff, how are you doing? And all that stuff. And liking this video helps as well if you haven't liked it already. Anyway, also, if you like everyone in the chat here, or you watch these later, because I know a lot of people watch these videos, the streams later, and are like, man, these people seem cool. I would like to hang out with them. Then join the Discord. If you're not on Discord, it's actually really good. It's like your messaging service at work if it didn't suck. And it's really good. It's a great Discord community. You have things like the Ask Jim channel, which I need to get to and answer a few things about. The licensed playing card thing, which I still have the same playing cards, the Mandalorian ones for a while now. I'm sorry. They do watch longs. I think did they do the Matrix last night? They did something. They do a lot of cool stuff. I never have the time to do it, and I really should at some point, or just stop it. But Austin and St. Powers do have a great community there. It's really wonderful. I really highly recommend it. And please, oh hello Garrett, please join that if you have not already done so. Also follow me on TikTok, Instagram. I have one for just the videos, the fact videos and the kind of shorts I do. as well as a personal one. And then there's also oh, they did. Okay. Um, also, like Twitter, Tumblr. I have a Facebook thing. It's all in the description. So check those out if you would like to. And I think that's everything, right? Did I freeze just then? No, I just was quiet. I'm having a great. Oh, thank you, Alex. Yes, I should stop in. Oh, you still like Matrix 4? That's cool. All right. I am gonna try to do notable comments on there. I need to do that a little more. Thank you, Corbett. No, I would like to. I would like to be honest with you. It's just my life's always busy. I feel like every time I'm like, oh, what is it today? Oh, that's a very warranted reason for being too busy, but it just seems to happen a lot with kids and everything. Also, before we get into it, I have been working on the cartoon. I worked on it a little this week, just slowly. I think they just come out when they come out. But when it comes out, there's going to be a slew of things, and I'm sort of working on several things at once, but it is still coming. Anyway, let's get on to the actual reason you're here, which is movie news, and let's talk about the disaster. Hold on. You're going to go over here. Let's talk about the disaster that is The Flash. This has really not worked out for WB, even though David Zaslav tried to act like it was the best superhero movie ever. I have not seen it, in all fairness. I'm going to see it this coming week because I don't think my kids really care about The Flash and they're too young for it, it sounds like. Anyway, but this has not been working out. Everyone thought it would make 70, which was still bad, and now it's looking like it's going to make about 60 over the holiday weekend. It is a 3-day weekend, so it could work out for it on Monday, like a little, but not really. Despite that, and despite the low expectations, Andy Muschietti, who's the director of The Flash and the 2 It movies, has been selected to direct Batman Brave and the Bold, which continues the thing of dudes who have big bombs getting signed up to direct another big movie. So that sucks. I was like, I don't know. Hello, a guy named Crystal, by the way. I when I heard that, I was like, I don't love that. I don't even like that as a choice for the director, even if it didn't bomb, by the way. I think it's a dumb idea. I think the thing with the Flash disaster, and I've been asked about it a lot, actually. And I think it's kind of interesting because The Flash came out at a weird time because we don't have movie press, basically. We don't have movie press at all, or movie, like, promotion the way we did, because what happened in that you have no talk shows and no reasons to go viral. I think you have just podcasts, like Mark Maron's podcast, stuff like that, and Hot Ones had Melissa McCarthy on. And although I'm sure those get watched and listened to more than the actual late night show, we don't have those viral moments that everyone's talking about and stuff like that. And I noticed, like, Michael Keaton, who I've heard from various people was doing Beetlejuice and probably couldn't do promotion. I guarantee Warner Brothers would have worked that shit out. But it was also weird, like, the Ezra Miller thing was interesting because we all knew for a long time that he was only, Ezra Miller, that they were only going to be doing the premiere and very limited press. And they only did the premiere and limited press. People were like, can you believe they only did the premiere and limited press? And I was like, I mean, they had to do, like, they had to be on something. Like, it just, like, that would be even weirder. So I don't know. The premiere thing was odd to me because people were like, can you believe it? And I'm like, I mean, I can, because I knew a month ago that they were going to do this, and they did work on the movie. I mean, it's like they deserve to be able to. They did, regardless of the controversies with Ezra Miller, they did help make the film, and they deserve to be able to celebrate it with everyone who worked on it. I just don't. Anyway, I don't know. I think it's a combo of there's a lot of baggage. It's been shit on the press for a long time. It's part of the DC expanded thing that nobody really gives a shit about anymore. And the other thing is it did the DC Zack Snyder thing that we all, that those DC movies did after Man of Steel, where it's like, oh, it's not a Man of Steel 2, it's Superman and Batman. Oh, it's not it's like you can't, or it is Batman v it's the Batman v Superman all over again, where it's like you can't just do a Batman movie and a Superman movie and let it build, and you also have to have a Wonder Woman in there, and you have like too many things in at once, and I just don't think. The morning talk shows are still going. Did Michael Keaton do any of? I haven't seen very much viral stuff for that. Seen Jennifer Lawrence doing press. She's smart to do it because that movie really is sold on her. I just find it had too many things at once. It should have done a Flash movie, but the last thing we saw the Flash in was what? The Justice League or the Snyder Cut or something like that. It's just very weird, and I don't think it. I don't know. I think that really hurt it ultimately. Like, you can punch it up as much as you want, but it just was never going to do that. Oh, hello, Michael Reed. But anyway, the other DC news, and then we're going to move on to other stuff, is that Superman casting and shooting or screen tests were going on today. From what we see, Nicholas Hoult, David Cornsweet, and Tom Brittney are the ones auditioning or doing screen tests for Superman. Emma Mackey, Rachel Brosnahan, and Phoebe Dreyer are up for Lois Lane. I'd say Rachel Brosnahan seems to be somebody who is really campaigning well and apparently really screen testing well. I've heard nothing but great things about. It really seems to be between David Cornsweet and what's his name, Tom Brittney. Tom Brittney, I sort of agree with most people who say David Cornsweet seems to be the fan choice, but Tom Brittney looks like probably to me, even though he's English and stuff and not American, I think he looks like a better choice for what we have heard. Again, James Gunn is a good Austin. I will get to your super chat. Don't worry. He did cast, and with Guardians of the Galaxy made several movie stars with Dave Bautista and Chris Pratt and stuff. So I think they're kind of letting him figure this out, and we could see somebody get it who's not even in here. Nicholas Hoult seems the least likely, and I think it's just maybe people were saying was maybe a ringer, maybe he's Lex Luthor. We don't really know, but it'll be interesting to see where this goes. I'm sort of thinking it's Tom Brittney, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, if you ask me, from these people right now. But I think James Gunn can sort of do what he wants in casting, and we could see somebody who's not even in here. So we'll see. I think David Cornsweet, to me, I mean, he's on the list. So if one of these guys gets it, I would not be like, oh, I'm wrong. I don't really know. But a lot of industry people have brought up that Tom Brittney has a little more going for it. The only one who seems to be a lock is Rachel Brosnahan, I think. But we'll see. Austin says the dark cinematic universe will rise. The dark universe cinematic universe will rise. Nice. Cheers to you, Austin. All right, let's move on to the Zelda Universal rumors and what the hell is going on with that. The thing with the Zelda thing is, so Jeff Snyder, who I like for movie news, I don't like. I will watch the new Superman show on it also. That looks cool. What happened? Jeff Snyder, who I like for movie news, not much for his review opinions of anything else, but he's very good at getting movie news. I will say he's very good at it. And when he's talking about movie news, he's very smart about that too. In case you see him tweet and you're like, Jesus, Jim, I think those things too. But he has good sources, and he said that Universal was meeting with Nintendo about Zelda. What he said specifically was Universal was meeting with Nintendo. He did not say Universal was meeting with Illumination. He said maybe it's Illumination because that is who they worked with before, but he specifically stuck to more Universal. Other people came out and asked Chris Meledandri, who's the head of Illumination, if that was going on with Illumination. He said no. Now, there's a kind of a catch to this that no one has really brought up, and I will bring this up now. Chris Meledandri, Zelda not being at Illumination sounds like a good idea to me. That I don't want it to be at Illumination. I don't think Zelda would work at Illumination. But Universal has two animation studios, that and DreamWorks. And here's kind of my big brain thinking about this, because Chris Meledandri said that wasn't happening and was kind of closer. I think his quotes were closer to the Illumination side. So here's, first off, these are rumors. Almost everyone who's reported said it is a rumor, but it's a rumor that is strongly confirmed. And that is what everyone is saying. And so this is not the same as bringing up the Superman casting. That's confirmed. This is not the same as bringing up Andy Muschietti directing Batman Brave and the Bold. So I want to make that perfectly fucking clear. But I want to, and it's a negotiation. So even if it is a rumor or not, if it's true, it could fall apart. And Nintendo's notorious for that shit, especially with the movie things. I know nothing about Zelda. Sit around. I don't actually either, but I have more to. Cheers to you. But I still find this interesting. So you're Universal. You have 2 animation studios. They are both, by the way, under Chris Maledandri. He runs both. So the fact that he denied it kind of makes me think, and more, he did more focus on the Illumination side, which I think is why people think the DreamWorks thing. But the fact that he denied it, and he's on the board of Nintendo and all this stuff, I do think there's a lot of validity to that. But here's what I think. Nintendo and Universal are clearly in bed with each other. There has been rumors that the Mario 2 thing, they're kind of waiting for the WGA thing to work out and trying to figure out what they want to do. And it seems like Mario 2 is going to happen. And the only one who's confirmed it is like Chris Pratt, which is funny. But, so you have Nintendo, it's a huge company, you have 2 animation studios. Why not give, and hear me out on this, and I think this is my own personal theory. Why not go, okay, Mario and Donkey Kong and the more like funny, sillier, kind of like more, I'm not saying Zelda isn't family friendly kind of like bigger, these huge silly pop culture-y brands, again not saying that about Zelda, would go to they'll go to Illumination. You have a different animation studio with DreamWorks. Let's say you give Zelda to DreamWorks. Let's say you give Metroid to DreamWorks. That makes more sense. DreamWorks has a history of adventure stuff with How to Train Your Dragon. It has a history of superhero stuff with Megamind and everything like that. It makes way more sense with them. And so you can have 2 different labels of Nintendo under one umbrella, basically, under Chris Maledandri, who's actually really good at working with IP that like no one can get. Like he did Dr. Seuss when he worked at Blue Sky, I believe. He got, I think, he's the one who worked out the deal with Lorax with Illumination. Like he's very smart about that stuff. I think he's probably an evil person, but because he makes the minions and stuff. But I do think it makes more sense to do it that way. And that's kind of my personal theory that I cannot back up at all, is that like well, I did see a super chat. Hold on. Let me do that real quick. It says, all you have to know is Link's house is apple clumps. That's so inside. Apple clumps is my Pony Sona or whatever, because I do know nothing about MLP, and so anytime they ask me, I say apple clumps, so I act like it's a real character, which could be. I do not know. I don't know anything about My Little Pony. I know I've seen random episodes. I've been to 2 BronyCons. I can piece things together, but I know so little about the show, and I like to keep it that way, despite working with a pretty big brownie person all the time. Anyway, cheers to you, Lucas Anderson. All right. Anyway, we'll see what happens with that. It seems to me the way that people are really going through that rumor, because it's one thing to just put out a rumor. It's another thing to really go through it. If people are really like pushing to find out about this, I think there's something going on as well. So we'll see. All right, this is kind of a limited, quick thing, and we're going to be jumping around. This news was at Annecy, this wasn't, this was, but that's how this is today. Primal Season 3 has been confirmed, assuming what... spoilers, I guess, but not really, because they were posting an image that would be a spoiler for the end of Season 2. Is that would be the daughter of Spear, who I don't know her name. I'm assuming, I don't really know what that new season is going to be. We're assuming it's her. Because I believe Adult Swim posts an image of her. We'll see what's going to happen to that. Oh, hello, Damien Root. That's the other thing. Final Fantasy might work. I don't know. See, I don't know these properties that well, but it's, hello, Michael Reed. Anyway, what do you guys think of my theory? I'm curious. I think it's a good theory. I don't know. Anyway, but all right, let's move on to a couple more. We have a bunch of stuff. I think maybe I'll just talk till midnight and then take a break. Maybe we'll do it that way. Anyway, I'm just talking out of my ass. So this was an interesting thing that came out. There was a big piece on the people who are running Warner Brothers basically running Warner Brothers. There's a big piece of variety. There's various pieces that came out of that, but including a Chris Nolan thing, which we'll talk about later. But this I found interesting in that the Food Network, which is part of the Happy Warner Warner Discovery mergery thing. Hold on. Austin says they could do anything after Primal Theory. That is fucking right. You are right, Austin. Cheers to you. You know, after I drink these, I'd make like a Paul Brother joke, but I don't actually know very much about them except for that like Suicide Forest thing. Was that the one who made this? I don't actually know. But by the way, the Rocks does the same thing, but is better. I gotta say, if I'm comparing this to the Rocks energy drink, I think the Rocks is the best one. I'm gonna go with that. Anyway, I like people comparing Metroid and Primal. That's interesting. All right. So anyway, the Food Network apparently will air chocolate-themed programming later this year tied to the release of Paul King's Wonka, starring Timothée Chalamet. Is this the future of Warner Discovery? Oh yeah, by the way, Austin has a Callbacks Bites recently. You should check that out. But sorry, this is like, I need to focus. What I think is interesting about this is seeing the kind of synergy between the brands, which we really haven't seen from Warner Brothers. I was joking maybe they'll do worm food for Dune or something like that, but I do think you'll see more of this through various things. Also, most people who work for Food Network have little to no integrity other than making food, so I'm sure they'll just fucking do it. And most people who watch that would be like fine with that shit. So I just find it to be a huge, an amazing opportunity for people who are easily convinced into things. Because they'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll do a bad food. I don't really give a shit. So that I can totally see this becoming more and more of a thing for cross promotional thing, the way Disney does with Disney Channel. Works out for them back in the day. Okay, so this is kind of a slew of Netflix things, but we'll get into it. Nimona, the Nimona trailer, I gotta say, was the best piece of thing I've seen for Nimona in a long time. I think it is really great. Spicy food for Dune? Nice, MBLT. That was good. Darren Root, sorry, said, probably works. People rarely talk at Primal, so I guess the writer's strike has no effect. Nice. So the Nimona trailer was actually really good. It actually made me want to see it. It showed like how much kind of fun it was, the concept, everything like that. I think it was probably something that probably got more people interested in it than we've seen from anything. So it made me more hyped to see it. I like that she can turn into various things. That looked like a lot of fun, so I thought that was cool. As for stuff today for Netflix, we got the Avatar we got images of people from the Avatar live action remake of Avatar The Last Airbender and Avatar, kind of a proof of concept trailer. I gotta say, I think live action things of anything that's animated, if it's not Speed Racer, is fucking bullshit garbage, and I have no actually understanding of what the purpose of making it is. If you're going to do something different with it, but why don't I just watch Avatar The Last Airbender? Like, I haven't seen the full first season, and I never have any time to, like I haven't gotten to watch that Unicorn show fully and stuff like that, but I do not understand why you would want this. Like, this is really stupid to me still. If it's animated, like, it's, to me, it's like, that's the thing. Like, I would still be more interested if someone took a live action thing and made it animated. That would be interesting to me. I would be so into, like, oh, we remade Casablanca but made it animated. I think that's stupid, but it would still be more interesting than this. I don't see the understanding of it, and what it, like, it just seems dumb. So I don't, whatever. But it looks fine right now. It looks okay. The images look fine. The trailer was just like the various like earth, water, fire shit. I don't know. Oh, good point. Ryan Walsh said the Dora movie is another exception. I do like the Dora movie too, so I'm with you. In fact, I've liked it more since whenever I reviewed it. Actually, my wife and I watched a lot. Oh, hello. Hey, Pumpkin Dragon. By the way, I wanted to say you should click on Pumpkin Dragon and watch their short film because it's really great. And I watched it a bunch of times. and I really like it, and it's fun watching it. Like, hey, we're bad guys. We might be bad guys, but we're not bad guys. I like that. Anyway, but yes, I don't really support the Avatar live action things. Like, didn't we already? I'm also like, didn't we already fail at that? Like, why do we keep doing this? Like, what purpose are we learning from this? If it was a different story, I'd respect that. Or there's a different version, but it's like so many of these are bad and have bad reasons, and I just like that's my problem with it. It's like Speed Racer or Dora had a perspective, and the rest of these are like, but what if it was live action? That's not a perspective. That's it is, but it's a dumb one, and nobody cares. Live action to animated rotoscope or CG. That's painful. I would deal with rotoscope. I would deal with. Hey, Izzy, who is Pumpkin Dragon? Do you know them? Okay, cheers to you, Syndrome. Thank you. Rotoscope. I would be fine even if it was rotoscope. You did like, you could do cool stuff with The Godfather. You could do some cool stuff with Goodfellas. You could do different things with it. If you do different things with it, how cool would that be? Anyway, cheers to you, Syndrome. Thank you very much. I don't know One Piece super well, but I watched the trailer. It actually looked kind of fun. I could see people who are not super into One Piece or maybe watching it, but I don't have a huge thing. Rebel Moon looked cool. I think people are like, who would care about Rebel Moon? But same with like his zombie apocalypse thing. It's like when I see that on Netflix, and I hear people talking about it, that seems cool to me. And if Rebel Moon is on around Christmas and I have a night where I'm not doing anything, I'm just gonna chill. I think people would be down with it. So I do have a bit of a WGA update sort of thing about what's going on there. It's not super long because nothing's happening. I know that supposedly the rumors are that the suits absolutely fucking hate that. Sinram said, I always thought RoboCop would look awesome rotoscoped. I'm not going to disagree with you. But the WGA apparently has been annoying the suits by having they've been having like theme days and making sure there's always a social media event around the WGA stuff. Or like they had the strippers, the only strip club that's unionized, show up and do a show and stuff like that. So like they're definitely making it fun and social media worthy, even though it's been going on so long. It's like, and there's no updates. It's like sort of hard to keep talking about, but they found a way, and that's apparently annoying them, or rumored wise. The DGA deal supposedly, and in my mind, looks terrible. They're really hoping people will sign for it, even though it looks bad. It seems like it might get rejected, but that's kind of on the fence because people are saying, most reporters are saying what they've heard inside the DGA, you know, there is sort of a media blackout, is the people who are not on social media are like, sign it. People who are on social media are like, this is bullshit. We'll see. And SAG, we know they've authorized that when they negotiate, there can be a strike. It looks like most likely what I took it when that was announced as they were going to strike. If they strike, that will happen around July 4th. Presumably, that could majorly handicap any promotion that could be done for these movies. But as I was saying before, all the late night shows are gone. All you have is like Regis and Kelly, or Kelly and her husband, I think, and and the morning shows. So I don't know if like you're really losing that much, but I think that could really hurt something like Barbie specifically. So we'll see, or we'll see if it could even last that long to the Oppenheimer Barbie situation. So that's what's going on right now. Basically nothing, but it seems like everyone's siding with the writers. The streamers and everything like that are going to be basically fucked. So that's basically what's going on. Nathaniel Foga said there was an animated Hercules and Xena movie. I kind of remember that. Was that good, by the way, Nathaniel Foga? I forgot about that. Cheers to you. Thank you for the super chat, sir. There was before we get into the bigger thing about Disney's release date changes, I'll talk about 3 things before we get into that are Disney related. One was the Little Mermaid preschool show. Hello, Behold Mercy. How's it going? Oh, Spaceballs animated. That's true. That is true. The Little Mermaid preschool show, which appears to show the Little Mermaid that Halle Bailey. For a while in my review, I was actually saying Haley Bailey, and I was like, that seems wrong. But the night I had heard that was really bad, Austin. There was going to be a Little Mermaid preschool show showing more of the Haley Halle Bailey, almost fucked that up. Version of Little Mermaid, that looks cute. I feel as soon as people are like, will that be how good it will be or something like that, I feel like my kids will probably watch it. So when I've seen it 400 times, I'll let you know. Pete Doctor says Toy Story 5 will have Buzz and Woody. Pixar is in such a weird place, but the fact that we're talking about Toy Story 5, I'm very disappointed. I do not know. I would actually be fine with, like, you make a Woody movie, you make a Buzz movie, and it's them in their respective lives. I'd be cool with that, to be honest, but I wish they were doing it. And Jennifer Lee kind of confirms the thing that we probably could have guessed, to be honest, if you thought about it, is she won't be directing Frozen 3. She isn't saying who is directing it, but that she's happy where it's going. I think Frozen as a brand is still pretty big. I still see a lot of the backpacks. I still see a lot of stuff like that, merch everywhere. But I think it's because it's so a part of these kids' lives. I don't know if it's as big as like Encanto or like Super Mario or something right now. So I feel like you kind of need a new take anyway. But it's still like a huge brand. I mean, I don't know. Sophie killed it singing "Let It Go" at her after school. They did a big show, and she was amazing, by the way. I didn't get to go because I had to work, but I saw the video and she's really talented. Anyway, sorry. My kids are great. So let's go over the things from this. There was stuff announced and stuff moved. But here are the overall things I want to say before I go through all those dates. And hello, ToonJ723. Before I get into it, said Woody and Buzz could die at the end of Toy Story 5, and Disney would still greenlight a Toy Story 6. I've noticed that meme. People were like, Buzz could get left on the moon, and they would still find ways to reunite them. We could find out they really did get burned up in Toy Story 3, and they would still bring them back. You're very true, ToonJ723, and cheers to you. Thank you for the super chat. All right. There's a couple things to take from this. They moved a bunch of Marvel stuff to better strategic places. They dated Moana, which is June 27th, 2025. I wish they would date it for never, because it is a horrible idea. And they gave emphasis. They put Star Wars has 2 movies in 2026, which I am not taking seriously because neither of them have names. And 2026 date is like kind of far off, and like I think they're just planting flags and release dates. I think that's honestly what it is. Everybody can shut the fuck up. It's like everyone's like, they said they never put 2 Star Wars movies in the same year. I'm like, you are just I don't know. I don't like the movie press thing of like, I'm gonna jump to these fucking conclusions, and you're like, I mean, I guess, dude. But Avatar was given all these prime December release dates. I think this is because the last 2 Avatars made $2 billion each. Both got a Best Picture nomination. Disney's like, look, Star Wars ain't getting that. Pixar ain't getting that. Box office and awards. We get awards. We get box office. Why would we not have these? We're making money on the theme parks. They're trying to sell merch. We were at the Disney store. They had like little like glow daggers. It was like way off. They don't have any Avatar merch. It's kind of funny. It was like a little basket, and Sophie's like, "What is this?" And like I couldn't tell. I'm like, "Oh, it's Avatar." They spelled it wrong. No, it's that part's funny, but it is kind of a weird thing that it's interesting. Anyway, so the one thing that got pushed up was Deadpool, which went from November 8th, 2024 to May 3rd, 2024. I'm going to be honest, I think that is a better release date for Deadpool 3. It is a huge franchise still. It is a beginning the summer release date. They'd be stupid to do what they were going to do, which was have Captain America Brave New World. I have nothing against Anthony Mackie being Captain America, but launching a new franchise like that on May 3rd is really hard. And Disney, and especially the movie industry being what it is, they really just want a hit at the beginning of the summer, and Deadpool 3 gives you that, and everyone's happy. So that's why you do that. Other things, Thunderbolts is delaying to December 20th, 2024 because there's no Avatar that year. Blade moved to February 14th, 2025. I'm assuming that is both because it's your Valentine's Day, Black History Month, and things of that nature. Fantastic Four to May 2nd, 2025, showing that they really are emphasizing it because that is the beginning of summer slot. The movie industry is really taking that, especially Disney, that slot seriously. That is a big slot because you have the whole summer. You can play at drive-ins for a while. You can play at everything for a while. That gives you money, basically. That it's as silly as that might sound. Drive-ins matter. They sort of do in this sense, and they know that. So they want a strong thing that can play all summer long. You can end up with a lot more money that way. Same with like if you have that end of July slot, you have a month because there's really August is not considered as big of a month, and there's less competition. You can sit in those theaters for a while. They pushed Kang Dynasty back a whole year. I don't care. That's so far away. Who matters? Who cares? The other thing with Avatar that came out of that people are saying is that this is majorly rumored that James Cameron will bounce from the Avatar franchise after Avatar 3 because it seems like he wants to move on to other stuff. There's all sorts of rumors who would take that on. I gotta be honest. I think the real choices would actually be between Tim Miller and Robert Rodriguez because those are the only two directors who really worked with him well. Unless him and Catherine Bigelow start working together again, I don't see anyone else doing it. But Zoe Saldana said, I think I started these movies when I was 27. When it'll end, I'll be 53. So we'll see. There's also rumors they moved Kang Dynasty further because they want to figure out what they're going to do with Jonathan Majors. We'll see where this all goes, but it is interesting. The main things to take off from this is Moana has a date, so it sounds like it's very real. Star Wars is probably going to pick one of those dates, but it sounds like they most likely are probably going to move it away from Christmas time if they have a Star Wars too close to an Avatar because they're emphasizing Avatar because they make way more money off one Avatar movie than they will make off a Star Wars, especially internationally. And that really matters to studios right now. You look at what's happening with what's that Citadel show? Does very well everywhere that is not America. You look at something like One Piece. I'm sure they're thinking more of what that will do in other countries than here. And so that is becoming more of a realistic thing that people were talking about. Oh, China in the 2010s with the movies, and that's annoying. You're going to see more stuff where like it is a big thing on the streaming service and we barely know what it is here. And it'll still get a prime slot because they're like, well, it'll, Anyway, we'll see what goes on from there. So one thing, and then we'll get into the huge Warner animation slate. Sorry, we're going like big thing and then big thing, but that's the movie industry. That's the movie news this week. Was the French Connection getting a little part cut where Papa Doyle or what's his name? Lead character in movie, and he played. He was in Royal Tenenbaums, and he was in Superman, and I can't think of his name. I'll wait for the chat to tell me, because I really can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter, I guess, in a sense. I should know his name. I could describe his whole career. He's in a movie with Kevin Costner and Ray Romano, also. And he's retired. Damn it. Anyway, a part of French Connection was cut out where he says the N-word is in terms of the film to show that he is a shitty person, so that makes sense. But what happened is in French Connection is it was sent to Criterion with it cut out. Most who are in distribution think Gene Hackman. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry about that. Owen Wilson. Thank you. It's a lot. Oh, you forgot Gene Hackman. I know. I can tell Sid Rap's like, Jim, come on. I get the emphasis of that all caps, Sid Rap. Thank you. But the French Connection got a part cut out and was sent to Criterion. Most think who work in the industry who've tweeted have said it was most likely cut out for Disney Plus in certain territories, or in the event that this is played on TV and the wrong file was sent to Criterion and Criterion caught it and so forth and so on. It's not Disney realistically thinking they could get away with that. It's most likely something like that. But the thing with it that's interesting is a lot of people have brought up that this happened. People are mad at Disney for doing this. William Friedkin, who directed this film, has said nothing. And everyone thinks, why has he not said anything? A lot of people think maybe he was for this. And the fact that he has not said anything about a controversy for one of his most famous movies is weird. So this does make me want to watch The French Connection again. Hello, Nina Garcia. How's it going? But again, because it's been a while, I rewatched the car chase because I was working on something. And I needed clips for it. And I was like, man, this is a good car chase sequence. I got to say. But anyway, It's an interesting controversy because one, it seems like Disney, whoever sent it, was just apparently at the end of the 20th Century Fox era, everyone was overworked and doing too much and being asked for weird requests and doing it. And I think it was just an accident, from what I understand. And someone who edits things for other people and myself, that kind of shit just happens sometimes, and it's really not a vast conspiracy. And I honestly sort of believe that. But at the same time, why is William Friedkin not said anything? And that is weird. Regardless of did he do it or not, that's weird. So that is the one hanging Chad thing of this that I'm very curious when we'll get a culmination. If he did, by the way, today and I missed it, please let me know. But I'm a little curious about that and why he didn't. And like, was Disney like, shut the fuck up? Was he like, I actually never liked that part in my movie, so I was like okay with it? Was he like, I don't want the N-word in there anymore? But to me, it's like, if someone says the N-word and they're supposed to be bad, then I don't really disagree with that. You know what I mean? Anyway. All right. Let's go through. Warner's at Annecy did a huge animation slate thing, and they talked about a ton of things that are coming up and things they're emphasizing and stuff like that. But what I do think, what did Ryan say? That's spicy. The bad guy from Ants. Good one, Ryan. I should have known he would do something like that. All right. But they did emphasize a lot of shows that they're, as Warner's is emphasizing animation more and more. The one thing, and I'm probably going to tweet this out, or I might time a few tweets tomorrow while I'm just being chill with my family and stuff, is Fired on Mars was emphasized at this Annecy presentation, as much as everyone's like, Max or HBO Max doesn't care about this show. Like, why would they do that there? That's kind of interesting to me. I'm a little curious why they did that, since almost everyone's been like, they're not pushing the show, and they're not. But then why suddenly are they like, hey, Fired on Mars, am I right? But they didn't announce the second season. A lot of reports brought up that they definitely brought up Fired on Mars. So good for Fired on Mars, but I have no news on that other than that. But I think that's sort of notable in a sense. Hello, Medela Butterfly. But the other things they announced was Adventure Time, Fiona and Cake, which is coming out soon. Young Love, which is the show from about the family in Hair Love and about their life and everything like that. Issa Rae, I believe, returns as the mom. I believe she was the mom in the original short. And Kid Cudi is the dad. That sounds cool. I really love that original short. They did play, and Toon J723 is bringing up, they did play, they're going to play, I don't think there's any reporting about Daffy and Wacky Land, which is the first stop motion Looney Tunes thing. There's actually another stop motion animated thing, a stop motion Taz short, that's weird phrasing in my notes, a stop motion Taz short, that's, I think, gonna end up being a show or something. I don't know. I think autocorrect messed up what I was saying there. But there is a Tasmanian Devil Taz stop motion thing as well. So it's interesting they're playing with stop motion with the Looney Tunes stuff. We have Adventure Time, Fiona and Cake, which I think I said. I'm sorry about that. Uptown Bodega, which is by one of the creators of is it Vampires vs. the Bronx, which I really liked. Oz Rodriguez is involved in that, and that sounds actually pretty cool. We learned about, I saw a quick look at Jessica's Big World, and I like the designs of that. That looked kind of neat. I'm only going to talk about the things I actually give a shit about, because there's like a ton of stuff in here. The Batman Cape Crusader, which we heard from Bruce Timm, who said it has everything I couldn't do for kids, which, look, Bruce Timm is gross, and I saw what he did with Batman and Harley Quinn, which I reviewed, and I didn't like what he did with that, so I don't. One of the things I like about Batman the animated series, the original, and instead of those movies as they perpetually went on, I like the beginning of the movies, is that like there's sort of a interesting thing about classic Hollywood films where they insinuate something and you as the audience kind of picked up on it, and that show did that really well. I don't need sex and everything. I don't need that shit, and it's just, to me, it's like, I'm less interested when he said that quote and everything. Like, this is more grown up. I'm like, I think there's a maturity to that original show that I would like replicated. Or if you're going to do something, do it different. I kind of was like, get a new creative team. Anyway, I'm like less enthused after this. There was the Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim, I think. It sounds cool. It's basically the first animated Lord of the Rings film since Ralph Bakshi. Or I guess I'm confused if it's opening in theaters. If it opens theaters since Ralph Bakshi. If it's just on streaming, I guess it's since Rankin Bass. But they keep referring to it as an anime. I don't really am interested in much of the Lord of the Rings stuff, but an animated Lord of the Rings, I am interested in that. Toon Tiny Toons University got promoted as well. The Creature Commandos, which is the actual first DCU thing, which is interesting. Season 7 of Gumball, which got a big applause at Annecy. Almost every report about it brought up that, like, when Gumball was brought up, the crowd went nuts, which is like, hey, good for Gumball. We also heard about Bubble Brains, about Porky and Daffy stopping an alien invasion. Porky and Daffy together, especially the current voices, are really great. And my daughter really loves them. And any other kid I know who watches Looney Tunes almost puts their duo together up there with Bugs at this point. So they're doing a pretty good job. The Invincible Fight Girl, which this sounds cool. I didn't see anything from it, but it sounds cool. It says, Invisible Fight Girl turns a girl born into a family of accountants in a world where most everybody wrestles, and she dreams of becoming the greatest pro wrestler of all time. They showed animatics, and it played to raucous laughter, so that's cool. And then there was the Merry Little Batman thing for kids, which I wasn't too into. But that's kind of the Warner slate. All right, let's move on to other things. They Cloned Tyrone trailer. That looks really, really cool, I gotta say. I was super... I don't know. I really liked... okay. Sorry. I really actually liked that... that trailer. I thought it looked like a cool concept. I don't know. It looked cool with Jamie Foxx, John Boyega. I forget who the woman was in that, but it looked actually pretty interesting. I'm excited for that on Netflix. It did give off a similar vibe because I was thinking of Vampires vs. the Bronx of that, but obviously a different thing. But I like the idea of using the sci-fi thing with kind of like a more kind of city kind of background. I think it was a cool idea. John Boyega in a sci-fi movie haven't seen since Attack the Block. I think he did a few sci-fi movies since then. Austin. I'm not gonna say which one it is, but Pacific Rim Uprising didn't make itself. No. Sorry, I'm being stupid. But I know what you're saying. Sorry, I just wanted to be stupid. Laika announced that they're making a film called Wildwood, which is based on a other thing I don't really know. It's going to have a big cast and all that stuff, but it doesn't come out until 2025, so cool. Laika. I hope it's worth it. Then we also found out, and someone brought this up to me in Discord when I go on the Discord and say, what do you want me to talk about? Someone brought this up, and I'd sort of heard about it. It's interesting that the estates of Don Heck, Gene Colan, and Don Rico were suing and trying to almost take their legal war up to the Supreme Court about creators' rights with Marvel Comics. All of them, except, of course, Steve Ditko's estate, settled before it went to trial. As saucy as Steve Ditko was, I am not shocked by that one. Apparently, it was an agreement which they also met with Jack Kirby's estate. They do not tell you what they got, which is interesting. It's really interesting. You don't find out what the deal was. That's fucked up. I have a feeling Ditko's estate might fight this for a while, so we'll see. All right. Let's talk about Primos or Oi Primos and the controversy. And I'm just going to take a swig of this just for my health there. So I watched Pan's video. I've read a certain amount about this. I watched the theme song. I watched a clip. My thing with this is, I think if it's a cartoon community or people talk about cartoons, when we get into these controversies, we're really shooting ourselves in the foot, and we continually have been doing this I've seen it happen with Steven Universe. I've seen it happen, especially with Steven Universe, honestly. And I don't think this is helping anyone. Now, granted, a lot of the people who work on the show have said not great statements and have not helped the situation. And I understand. Okay, hold on. We have 2 super chats. Said Lucas Anderson, my sister is storyboarding for Primos. Oh, okay. Well, how does she, Lucas Anderson, since you started out, how does she feel about the show? If you don't mind saying, if you do not want to say, that is fine. Cheers to you, though. Cheers to you. Cinram says, I'm curious about the solid red figure on your upper shelf is related to a very special Christmas, which was heard in the original Die Hard. Oh, is it? Can you see that? Hold on. Sorry. Too many things. Okay, so I've been getting a lot of things about this, actually. Sorry, I'm talking about a serious thing, and we just totally diverted. This is a thing to hold your cell phone when certain people are FaceTiming you. I've heard all these things. I try to move these, and I haven't, because I'm always tired. And why is Jaws all the way up there? Because Oscar kept losing the jaw. Anyway, this is all these things are. I've been hearing, I think someone said, is this like Mr. Bubbly or something? This is what these are. They're not, and they're just cell phone holders that my mother-in-law got us. And the kids really like. That's what those are. There's a blue one over here. I think there's a yellow one. Maybe there's not. Maybe that got lost. With kids, you never know. Anyway, that's what those are. If anyone's, I've been getting that question a lot, actually. So, but thank you for the super chat, Mr. Blobby. Yeah, I've been getting a couple people said Mr. Blobby, not just you, actually. Oh, okay. She says it's good. Okay. Well, I trust her more than anyone else. All right. Cheers to both of you. Thank you very much for the super chat, Sinram. Thank you, Lucas Anderson. Also, thank you, Sinram, for clearing that up. Okay. Back to Primos. My thing with this is, we haven't seen the fucking show, so there's that. I understand Spanish language is actually fairly complex between how people I do not speak Spanish, and I'm not going to act like I'm an expert, but one thing I do know is dialects between various cultures and various places are very different, and what you can mean one thing could be very rude, and another place could be more familiar, more casual. There's various different ways about it, and you should definitely respect that. But we're talking about a creator from their specific perspective, and if their specific perspective, they say certain things and are encapsulating their perspective into that, then that is not incorrect in my mind. Now, if she was not showing her actual perspective and one of her family members came out, that's a different scenario, but that is not what happened. And I understand people want to make videos and do all these things about this controversy, and in a certain extent, you can do that, but you haven't seen the show. And a good way to make content that will not last long is to do shit research because you haven't seen it and jump to all these conclusions, and then whenever this comes out, nobody's gonna give a shit because it's gonna be outdated. The other thing is I just don't really see it. I'm sorry, I'm not with you on this. I watched the Pan video and I understand the earthquake thing. I understand like the yellowy sky, which is Pan thought, and a lot of people think it was more of a comment on LA than Mexico, or anything. It is clearly in LA. The earthquake thing, I understand. Like, I think Pan did a good job, regardless of my relationship with him now or anything. I think that video is very well done, and I agree. I think you researched that well. But if you showed this controversy to someone who's not in animation, they're going to be like, I don't understand this shit, and that is kind of hurting our whole community. Because anytime, like when I heard even Jeff Snyder talk about the Zelda thing, he said, that's his whole animation thing. And I don't, as I said, I don't like him in terms of those views. But I think when he says that, and when other people say that, they say like, I don't want to deal with your stupid ass bullshit, and let's like stop this stupid ass bullshit. Because as someone, I will specifically say, everything that happened with the Steven Universe controversies were bullshit. And I saw everyone make these long ass videos that were an hour and a half long that would scroll through. Half the shit was wrong, by the way. Everything about Rebecca's background was incorrect in almost all of those videos. You could have DM'd me and I would have like corrected you, but you didn't. And you had a poorly released video, which you clearly didn't even Google her. So I could tell the inherent sexism in doing that and disregarding her abilities and background. And I understand why you did that, regardless of if you say you didn't. But I know what you did because I know the actual background because I like lived it and stuff. So like you can get fucked. And any of those videos who acted like there wasn't an animation background to her is, I know what you did, and you can lie as much as you want, but I know you took down a female creator for your own best interest. So you can go fuck yourself. And I know people do that, and I sort of think what people do in these scenarios is they find their own narratives and they attach them to these controversies and they get to speak on them. And sorry, I really hate that Steven Universe thing. It's like a thing that's bugged me for a long time. Much like I just did, you attach your narrative to those controversies and you spat on them. But I gotta say, like, no one is making a goddamn point because the show is not out. Let this show be its thing. But the other thing about it is, I follow people who do preschool shit, and like they don't care what you think of Spidey and His Amazing Friends, and they don't care what you think of Rugrats. Those shows go on whether we talk about them or not. We're not the target demo. Most people look at Twitter as like this off-brand thing, and I think this is just another example of it. So just like, let the show come out. Don't shit on people's perspectives. Spanish is a complex language. I do know that. And it changes from region to region. And specifically like LA part of it, I think let that be itself. Like, I just don't understand when we're going through like these little minute details. I can tell you're grasping at fucking nothing. If there was an actual thing that was really problematic, by the way, these companies have people who go through all this shit. And if they have a company, they like do a risk assessment team. They all have these things. Like, the reason you're grasping at straws is because they know you have nothing. So don't do this shit. Like, just don't, like, let's not take down cartoons and take down creators and things like that. When the show comes out, hey, go off. I'll review it, by the way. I will review it when it comes out. Whenever it comes out, someone hit me up, say, hey, Jim, you should, you would. I'll do it. If it's on stream or not, but I'll do it. But I just think what we're doing when we take down these things is we do not look good for people who review animation. It does not help animation, and it does not help anything. I don't know who it helps except for people's social media engagement and their channels, and I think it is very empty in the long run. So if you have a real thing to say beyond, idle, dumb bullshit, then fine, but I think you should wait till the show comes out and base your opinion on the actual show, not a theme song, which, by the way, they usually change until the show actually comes out. That is a thing that they have always done for fucking forever. So just chill, maybe, and wait till we actually have the actual thing. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, my sister and I are half Mexican, born in LA. I didn't know that, Lucas Anderson. That was cool. Cheers to you. So you're almost saying, I don't know if she has a problem. I'm guessing she doesn't. I don't want to put her on blast or anything, but that is cool. Cheers to you, Lucas Anderson. I'm sorry if I went off a little. I thought about this a lot. I was almost, Ryan Welch talking about this. I was almost like, I don't know if I want to talk. Part of it is like, I wish I hadn't put it in the thing, but I did, so I got to do this. And cheers to you. Can this be a segment? Oh, no. I kind of don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. I think me even doing this was like, after I kind of dug more into it, I was like, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be like, you can find it. Anyway, if someone has a problem with what I said, I'm sorry. You can just not watch me, I guess. Well, whatever. Okay, Lucas Anderson saying, I think she pointed out something. Okay, well, thank you guys. Thank you. I try sometimes. Okay. Moving on. That made me feel good that people liked it. All right. Let's talk about two huge filmmakers that we all like. Guillermo del Toro kind of put out a bunch of statements, and I think we're getting these doom and gloom statements from filming. Oh man, it is getting late. Well, we're gonna run long tonight, I think. Well, I guess it ends at 12:45, right? Because I want to do 2 hours. So anyway, I want to do the Guillermo del Toro thing in the next thing. So Guillermo del Toro, and the next thing after that, said basically wants to do more. Okay, hold on. Tunjay73 said, remember when people were complaining about the Book of Life being bad rep back in 2014? Now it's being used as good rep to put down Primos. I didn't know that. And by the way, I have noticed how much Coco and Book of Life. I did actually brought out how people said they were good. I saw Coco, and I have noticed people saying those are good representation. Remember how many years and years people would complain about that shit. Although I do think the copywriting Day of the Dead was bad, but that was Disney's lawyers, not the makers of Coco. And Coco goes over very well in Mexico, and people of Mexican descent love that movie. Like, they did an amazing job on that. Anyway, cheers to you, TuneJ723. So Guillermo del Toro basically said he only has about 2 or 3 live action films in him, and then he's just going to do animation. He also said most animated films there's so much life and corporate shouldn't be involved in them, and they just turn out to be shitty sitcoms. And then said he's had his last 2 or 3 live action projects turned down by studios, and he's losing faith in the system and stuff. I gotta say, Del Toro was like going off. And I agree with you. I don't know who guessed it, by the way. Not a soul in the discourse will watch it once it's out. Agreed. I want Del Toro to make more movies in general. I think it's cool he's considering animation, because I think he can. Hey, he won Best Animated Feature. He's Guillermo del Toro. I'm sure they'll let him do what he wants at Netflix. The fact that he has like become such a champion of animation, and he has such a loud voice in the filmmaking sphere, is one of the best things that happened in animation in a fucking long time. I gotta say, that is great. The way he feels about it is really wonderful. But the fact that he's getting turned down for stuff sucks. Now, I don't know what these projects are, in fairness to the studios. It could have been, I want $200 million, and I just stare at the camera for 2 hours. I doubt it is. But in all fairness to not to be like a corporate bootlegger or something, but we don't know what these projects are, and like, maybe they suck. But we don't know. I doubt it, because his stuff is usually pretty good. Not every film, Crimson Tide, I mean, design well, it should have gotten nominations for production. But I do think what he's saying here is really interesting. Much to what Scorsese said about filmmaking and stuff like that, is you have these masters more experimenting, and I think both Del Toro and Scorsese are these kind of older man directors who are like experimenting and more interested in film. And although I don't love, like, I wasn't a big Irishman fan, something like that, I don't love all of his older films. I respect the fuck that he made, like, what was it, Silence. I respect that he makes different kind of films, and he's constantly experimenting. And Del Toro is the same way. But I think I do think he I don't know, it's kind of I do think he's at a kind of crossroads where I think he sort of knows he needs to have kind of a big kind of hit, and Pinocchio was sort of like a Netflix thing, and maybe he doesn't really want to do that anymore, although he sort of had it with Pacific Rim, and the whole industry was behind him in terms of that, and that worked out for the most part, but not as much as everyone wanted. I wish kind of he did, but it seems like he's sort of over it. That's the vibe I get. But I love that he's like a big animation director, and doing these things is amazing. Zane Powers says, but the one guy replied, animation is in cinema, RIP. I hope it wasn't in here, but I did see Nightmare Alley. I'm sorry I didn't get to review it. After Oscar was born, it was kind of hard to have time and do things, but I like Nightmare Alley. Man, that ending. Whoa. Whoa. Anyway, cheers to you, Zane Powers. Thank you. I think Del Toro is at an interesting crossroads. Info on Genndy's Fix came out. Part of Genndy Tarkovsky. We were getting 2 Genndy news. I should have had these back to back, but we got info about it. It sounds like it's more of a comedy from him. Before anyone goes like, well, I want a Primal thing or a unicorn thing. We're getting so much Genndy shit lately. Just like, let the guy do what he wants. Like, it's not like, I think when most directors are like, oh, it's been 4 years and I get this. Like, it's been a month, and it's like And also, I want to like him doing a very cartoony kind of thing. Like, look at Hotel Transylvania 3. Like the animation of that and the animation comedy is really good. So, I want to say that's really pretty pretty good. Shape of Water did do well. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that, Austin. You got me on that. But yeah, it looks promising. We didn't really see any of the animation. I didn't see any of it leak, to my knowledge, but from the cast and everything like that, I'm excited for what Genndy can do with it, and I like what people are letting him kind of go and be his own thing. The Unicorn Show, I haven't watched too much of it. I really like it so far. Yeah, it is kind of a Genndy renaissance, I think. All right, so I want to talk about two Disney things. How much? Oh, we don't have a lot of stuff. Okay, I think we're okay. I hope we're okay. Let's see. All right, so we found out about the Steamboat Silly short that's coming on July 28th, where Steamboat Willie kind of comes out and deals with the Paul Rudish Mickey and things like that. Seems like a fine little short. The two theories about it, which by the way are not based on anyone who's seen it again, which I don't know. Maybe one thing about getting older, I'm sort of like, guys, like I don't know about some of these things. But one of the things is that this is supposedly about when Mickey goes in the public domain and how crazy it will be. I don't know if I support like Disney saying like, hey, it might be actually bad if Mickey's in the public domain. Think about that. I'm like, I don't know if I don't know, guys. I kind of wouldn't mind a Mickey shirt where it is all the different versions of Mickey. I know they announced like something where Mickey's getting all the various Disney characters to take a photo together. That sounds kind of shitty to me. That sounds really lame. I'm sorry. The first full episode of Primos was leaked months ago. Is that true? Okay. If someone can show me where it is, but it's like not a finished thing if it's leaked in my mind. Anyway, but because of this short, there was also talk this was the last of the Paul Rudish shorts. It seemed like more phrasing than an actual announcement to me. Some people suggested, they're stopping because they're making a movie, because it's the Wonderful World of Mickey, the last one of those, I think, or something. But that doesn't mean like there were shorts before, and then it could just be another series. To me, it's like I don't know about either of these. It seems like a cool short. I'm gonna watch it with my kids. We watched all the Mickey Mouse shorts and all Wonderful World of Disney. It's really good. So we'll see what happens there. Steve Meister, I've not heard this leaked thing. I'm a little curious about that. And also, if it's like leaked, anyway, that's interesting. Also, I would hope that what's the one where it's like the horror Mickey one, Brain something Mickey that I reviewed forever ago. I think that'd be cool. All right. There's going to be restored Disney shorts because this is like an anniversary for Disney. I believe it's about 100 years. And they're going to start on July 7th. The big thing about that is on July 7th, they're going to restore, and actually put on Disney Plus. I don't think it's ever been on Disney Plus, to my knowledge, is Runaway Brain. Thank you, Lucas Anderson. Is Skeleton Dance, which I think deserves to be restored and put on there. It's cool they're going to release them in batches. The first bunch, I think they're going to do it throughout the year. It's, I think, 28 newly restored Walt Disney Animation for the 100th anniversary. The first couple are Goofy Gymnastics, which I believe was the one featured in Roger Rabbit, Aquamania, Bath Day, Building a Building, and Skeleton Dance. And then August 11th, nothing. Where's one that like really stands out to me? Where's like band concert? Where the fuck is that? Did you guys already do that? Anyway, this is going to go on basically every month. Friday, August 11th, September, it says 5th through 8th. Don't understand what that means. And October 6th. And you're getting all sorts of things like When the Cat's Away from 1929, Trolley Troubles, All Wet, The Barn Dance. I think Barn Dance is a pretty big one. Why not band concert? What's going on, guys? Anyway, there were maybe they already did that, but that will be cool. All right, so apparently Spike Jonze is making an animated series and various other things for Netflix. That's all we really have. We'll see what happens there. The Elio trailer actually looked really cool. from Pixar. I guess maybe I'll see it tomorrow. That would be cool. The idea of that these aliens mistakenly think a little kid is the ruler of Earth. I think that's a good concept. It's probably a better concept than Elemental, but it actually looks like a fun concept. I think kids would actually like that one. I kind of actually think this looks like more of a hit. It looked like a lot of fun, to be honest. It's like it's a good idea. Let's see. Yes, okay. TuneJ7G3 said, "I wish they put shorts as series rather than individual things." They they the Mickey shorts I've noticed will play one after the other like a series, but other shorts like the Zootopia Plus wouldn't, and it's obnoxious when you're trying to just watch them all. We also got that Orion and the Dark, which is a DreamWorks movie that's going to be on Netflix, is written by Charlie Kauffman. This is real. It's going to be starring Jacob Tremblay, because he's in every animated thing ever. Paul Walter Hauser, who's I think underrated as an actor, to be honest with you, and Werner Herzog, and released on Netflix in 2024. That sounds amazing. There's a Werner Herzog, Charlie Kaufman thing. If you told me that, I'm there, and it's animated. Sounds amazing. And our last couple things, the Golden Globes were bought away from the HFPA. It's basically bought by Penske Media, who owns a ton of media coverage and news stuff. They've saved a lot of stuff, but I just did do. Well, I'll review it when it comes out. Juan Don, that was interesting. You're very well timed there. They bought this away and basically dissolved the HFPA, who they also had to give them each $70,000 pay for 5 years. So didn't really dissolve it, and it sounds like there'll be consultants. But who is actually going to vote on the Golden Globes seems to be a larger conversation. No one's really sure, but they basically dissolved what the Golden Globes were and are going to make it into something else. We'll see what happens there, but I think they will have to figure that out before the end of the year, and also figure out the TV rights, because NBC only signed a 1-year deal with the Golden Globes, which sounds like they might sign somewhere else possibly, or just still be with NBC. But the power the HFPA had over the Golden Globes is over officially. So two things, I guess they're kind of big, so we'll get to. I'll do one, and then the one probably people aren't talking about, actually, I don't think. So Christopher Nolan being wooed back to Warner's from Universal. Supposedly he got a big bonus from being for Tenet from Warner's. That's supposed to be in the 7 figures. That doesn't. We don't know how much, but 7 figures generally means at least $1 million. That could have been a contractual thing that they just sort of like gave him because he was there. He was doing sound mixing and stuff on the Warner's lot. A lot of times when people have long-standing offices, they just keep letting them, and especially they're a figure like Spielberg's offices are on the Universal lot. He doesn't necessarily do a lot of work for Universal all the time, but he's still there, and that might be the case with Christopher Nolan. Supposedly, they're trying to get him back after Oppenheimer. What I honestly think, and what I was saying on Twitter before, is Universal just won a ton of Oscars with Everything Everywhere All at Once. They are in a very good position to get Christopher Nolan a Best Director Oscar, which, like, let's be honest, that's what he wants. I think it's like that and then picture. If they get him, even if they get him a screenplay Oscar, if they get him and he can be Academy Award winning Christopher Nolan, but I think everyone basically just wants this Best Director. If Universal gets that, Universal has him for at least another movie, if not another one. Warner's, I don't think, is in the position to take him back at this point, unless they give him a crazy Tarantino deal and he gets the rights to everything. But we'll see what happens from there. I think Warner's lost their shot. I think if Universal, and it seems to me right now, I don't know what the Oscar year is going to be, but right now Universal looks good. You know, we'll see how I feel in November. We'll see how you feel in January. But right now, Warner's is not in a good place to take him back. He hasn't made a hit for Universal, which is, I think, with Oppenheimer, I don't think is a huge hit. But, like, if he made a Tenet, like, this year, even though I don't love Tenet, I don't know how. Why are people liking Tenet again? I don't understand that. It's not a good movie, guy. I've seen it twice, actually, by the way. I've seen it multiple times, and each time I watch it, I like it less, so. Anyway, thoughts on Grant Gustin? I'm assuming he is the live action TV Flash being cut from the Flash movie. I think that kind of sucks, and I heard they cut a bunch of people. And I think if you're like, why? I haven't seen the movie yet, so maybe my opinion on that will change. But I think wasn't Ezra Miller in the Flash show? I think that would have been a nice thing if they did. I think that's kind of not cool. So cheers to you, Javier. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here. All right. Oh, and you like Elemental? Okay, cool. I'm excited for tomorrow then. Um. Okay. So this is the one thing I want to emphasize. This was in other places that were not Cartoon Brew, and I don't like Cartoon Brew, and I think you know why. We're not going to go on that, but I thought this was a story that was worth talking about, and they seem to be the primary source for it. So I apologize for using them. That's where we're at, by the way. If anyone organization watches this, I doubt they do. That's how I feel about you right now, that I have to apologize for using you at all. So great blog you have there. But John Musker, who from John Musker and Ron Clements, the famous Disney directing team and folk duo, possibly, I don't know. They he is directing a film that a short film that he apparently made over COVID and during lockdown called I'm Hip. It is about a self-absorbed cat who tries to convince the world of his hipness. Look, Ron Clements and John Musker, I just rewatched I just rewatched Little Mermaid. I basically see one of their movies once a month. I saw Moana recently. They're amazing directors, and a John Musker short to me is something I'm definitely going to watch. I'm really curious when I'll get to see I'm Hip. I'm sure if it's up for a best animated short, and it sounds like he's playing Hennessy, that's maybe what he's ultimately doing. I don't know fully, but I'm Hip sounds really cool. I haven't apparently based it on a song and started animating it all himself during lockdown, and then obviously had a bigger crew come in and clean up and all those things. But it sounds really cool. It sounds like it's interesting. He's going sort of apparently indie with this and using his own money and stuff. But I wouldn't mind if John Musker like made a short every now and then when he was compelled to do that. So yeah, I'm curious. Look out for I'm Hip. It's from John Musker. He's one of the best directors of our modern era who retired from Disney. Ron Clements, I believe, is still there. And it's an interesting idea. I think if there's anyone who could make a animated short film about a hip cat be good, it's John Musker. All right. They made positive posts about NFTs. Jesus, they're the fucking worst, aren't they? All right. So I haven't really done the Obits thing in a while, and it's hard to do it because I don't get to do these streams enough as I usually do. But this past week, we lost two kind of pretty big people, but the biggest person in my mind is John Romita. It was announced by his son, John Romita Jr. Although his son was more a part of the comics I was really into as a kid, I do have to say most of what John Romita did with Spider-Man, specifically like the imagery he made, was used in Spider-Man 2. I think he's one of the most major important figures in Spider-Man and in some of the greatest myths and stories that we talk about in terms of Marvel and superhero that probably there ever is. He probably deserves the same amount of acclaim that Kirby and Ditko do. He is a great Spider-Man artist. I think in a lot of times like that the normalization of his style, but the reason there was a normalization of his style because it was so fucking good. Like he's a great artist. Like I see his Spider-Man art all the time. I can't think of more of a titan of the industry. Marvel did not do him justice. If you want to read about like what happened to him, he was just like firing people with his wife towards the end, and he quit. But he is. There would not be what we're talking about today with Spider-Man specifically without someone like John Romita. He is a true absolute legend of the 20th century in pop culture and art, and there's really no other way to put it with what he did for comics and what the imagery has gone on to influence in terms of your everyday lives. So if you've never gotten to look at a John Romita comic or the Spider-Man run, I highly recommend you do. I have read a good chunk of them, but he's a real titan there. Treat Williams also died this week in a motorcycle accident. I have an interesting relationship with him because I actually watched the show Evermore. Is this Evermore? Everwood? Is it Everwood? Everwood, which Chris Pratt was on way before anyone knew who he was, and the girl who was in who I guess she is in Shield in the Marvel movies is interesting because I think they were dating in that show, but he was the dad on that show. He was really good. I know him more for that. I know him from that Hair movie. I know him for being an extra on Empire Strikes Back just because he was available. It was funny. But I always liked him as an actor. I always thought he never got the specific roles. I don't know a lot of the stuff that people were mentioning for, but I always thought he was like this great dad character in Everwood. Real underrated show. He did a real great performance on that. I think he was a real titan of an actor. I always thought he was more talented than Hollywood ever gave him credit for, in my mind. Because when I saw him be really good and stuff, I always felt like he had real potential to be a bigger star, and I wish Hollywood had emphasized him more. So, I know him for. I didn't want to add on like, hey, remember that WB show he was on? Like, I didn't want to. But my family and I, when we watch TV, we all watch the same show, which that's kind of tampered off. But yeah, did anyone watch Everwood? Maybe that's not on anyone's radar. Anyway, I'm gonna use the bathroom. We're gonna take a break. I'm gonna do DC Nations, DC's World's Funniest. You can probably watch one of those during the break if you would like to. There'll probably be an ad. Cormac McCarthy. Okay, see, this is why I almost don't want to get into it, but I do R.I.P. to Cormac McCarthy. Sorry, no trouble, no country. Sorry, No Country for Old Men is a titanically great movie. The Road is great. I'm not the biggest Counselor fan. I'm a little curious. That's another one that I'm like, so we've all reestablished that one. But reading about him, he was interesting. I didn't read any of his stuff, so I feel weird saying it, but I love the films that he was based on. That was a secret tease for every WB show ever. Sure, Ryan. All right, anyway. I'm going to go use the bathroom. Be right back. Enjoy the little ad if you got it. And I think, yeah. All right. I will be right back, and we'll talk about DC Nations, DC World's Funniest. You can find those all on YouTube. And then we will talk about Partly Cloudy, and then we'll do questions, and that's it. All right. I will see you in a second. Enjoy the ad if you get one, and I'll be right back. All right. Cool. Okay, I'm back. Hello. How's it going, everyone? Wait, do I have... Oh, it's right there. Wait, what is this? Oh, You know what's weird about No Country is, like, the whole thing of Cameron Diaz on the car was, like... I remember seeing out of the audience, everyone was like, what the fuck is this? That is an interesting one that's aged well, because I thought it was so much hype, like Hollywood hype and emphasis and money involved in it. It's interesting it's become like an artistic thing. I'm kind of curious about that. Anyway, yes, I hope everyone got to wash their hands or whatever they're doing and do all that fun stuff. And yes. All right, let's get into what this is exactly. All right, so DC Nation. What was DC Nation, I guess, first off? Because what I'm talking about now is DC World's Funniest. Can you hear me? Sorry. No one said I could. Okay. All right, so today I'm going to talk about, during the segments, is DC World's Funniest, which is part of DC Nation. I sort of have to explain a lot of concepts in this one, but to explain it fully. So DC Nation was the thing where they play various DC-related animated shows, and they play shorts in between. They had various short series, and one of which was spun off into then becoming Teen Titans Go. But this one, DC World's Funniest, was actually made by Aardman and was probably my favorite one of all of them. I wouldn't mind reviewing any of these other of the DC Nation shorts, because I remember I actually used to like watching this block because they'd have these weird random animated things, and I thought it was actually pretty cool. I think most of them are on the DC YouTube channel, but I don't know, it was a cool vibe. I liked it, and I like when DC is a little more able to have fun with their intellectual property, much more than Marvel in terms of animation. But basically what this is Aardman, before this, actually, another concept I have to explain, Aardman kind of owns this concept. And what this concept is they made this short called Creature Comforts. And what this short is they first, like, documentary style interview a real person, and then they animate to that interview or the segment they cut out of it. And sort of a similar thing to what Dr. Katz did, or Knockforce, not sure if you heard of it, did as well, but in much more of a documentary style, where they basically take what someone said and they animated it, or did stop motion animation to it, to basically like zoo animals and stuff like that. And it was like a big kind of a hit short film. I remember it played on TV at the time a lot. They made a series of ads with it, and then an eventual TV show. And it's sort of Aardman's, I would say it's Aardman's hit thing before they did Wallace and Gromit. It was the thing they were most known for. It's a format is sort of most, I would say, I guess, known for with them. I guess you can't really own a format, but I would say it's like something they are known for. But basically what they did is, for this one, they have 5 different characters. It would be Superman, Batman, Robin, Joker, and Catwoman. And they have various kids who they interviewed, sort of talking about DC characters. I'm not sure how they interviewed them. I couldn't actually sort of find that. This was from about 10 years ago. So I don't know, or over 10 years ago. So I don't know if they, how they interviewed them, but they basically interview these kids, and they'd interview them, and they would talk about, like, oh, I can do this thing, and be like, have their silly kid improv imagination from there. And so instead of having normal people talk and then they'd animate animals, they'd have these kids talk, and then they'd have them be superheroes. But they don't design them as just the usual Superman thing. They design them in this weird Aardman way. So if you look at the animation, or if you watch this, if you look at the animation, it'll probably be on screen when this is an individual video, or you've watched these before, it doesn't look like Superman. It has this off sort of thing. And I think it, I don't know. They're clearly like improvising, and I'm kind of curious how they interviewed them, or the emphasis they give to them, or stuff. And it seems like they sort of are aware of what character they're playing, so it's different from Creature Comforts. I'm a little curious about that. But it is kind of an interesting take on it. They're each about a minute long. There's only 10 of them, so it's 10 minutes total. And they do break from the format in some ways. They have one where Superman keeps sneezing and his laser eyes keep coming out when he sneezes. They have another one where Batman, the bat phone is ringing and Batman's running to get the phone. When he gets there, they've already hung up. Which are interesting and still kind of funny, but it's interesting. Like, I'm curious, like, did they have not enough material and they had this contract for 10 or something? I'm a little curious why they did those specifically, but they are funny. But it's kind of like a little charming thing. I like the different design of the characters they did with this, because like Robin's taller than Batman. I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that before. They all have like weird British teeth and stuff like that. That kind of thing I quite like about it. It has this like very charming authenticity to the whole thing. They actually made action figures of the characters in this, which to be honest, what little I could find of reviews of this, I found a lot of people opening those and stuff. Part of me wouldn't mind having those because they look kind of cool and like different than you usually see with things. You also have Joker singing Batman Smells, which I thought was actually pretty cool. And the kid who plays Joker actually has a really cool laugh. I thought that was really cool. And I like the kind of weird take Aardman had on the material, just having like everyday kind of normal conversations with the DC characters. It really kind of opens up the whole DC mythos and things like that, which I think is a lot of fun. It's a good 10-minute watch about. I am going to make a playlist that will be at the bottom of this video. By the way, if you're watching this on stream, that is just for the video. I will make a separate, I didn't have time to make a playlist of all of them. When I do that, I'll tweet it out, but if you see the video later, it'll be in that description. I'm sorry I didn't get to do it before the stream. The Joker kid has a good laugh. I like the Superman kid's innocence. The Batman and Robin kid have good chemistry together. I don't know how they brought it together, but it has such a kind of fun energy of having like just kids be silly and be these characters. It's really endearing. It's very fun. It's a very homemade quality to it with great Aardman animation. I think it's a cool concept and a really cool place to take creature comforts, and that's a great format. I remember watching that as a kid and thinking of like all the various like thinking about like the idea of like, oh, that's a mommy, I think it was like Gorilla or something, talking about raising kids and stuff, and like thinking about things like that. And it's interesting having like what would a little kid think of Superman, in stop motion Superman. And you think of like, there's so many YouTube channels where like, let's ask kids to react to this or something like that. And what's I think interesting about this is it's like, well, is it better to just have the interview that's innocence, but if you combine that with animation and combine that with the iconography of DC and everything, the greater metaphorical and theoretical ideas that brings up, the idea of how children view superheroes, how they view them every day, how they view their imagination, and how they sort of don't care and put the emphasis that we do necessarily of them as legends, they just see them as everyday things. All those things like that, I think, play into these 10-minute shorts. I think they're really good. They're very kind of simple and straightforward, and they're just kind of fun little things that you could just have on TV. I think it shows Aardman at its best, and this format that Aardman is kind of known for, and that they started at their best. And it also shows like the power of animation, because again, if you just have these kids dressed up as superheroes, maybe that would be cute, but I don't know if you'd still think about it. This, like, I don't know, there's a lot of interesting filmmaking ideas going on within it, which I think what worked about Creature Comforts and what also works here. And if you're a fan of DC or you're a fan of animation, I actually think these are a must watch, and you should check them out. And it's a shame we don't talk about them more, because I think they have a lot of really cool things in them. And it's also cool just seeing the little kid Superman and hearing the kid Joker's laugh and all those things. It's just really charming little shorts that are definitely worth your time. Okay, the plastic, maybe I might review more of these, because I was sort of going through them and it was kind of interesting. All right. Also, this is kind of a maybe behind the scenes thing. When I was when I was writing my notes for this, I kept writing Creature Cases, which is a Netflix show my kids watched. And then when I was going over this before the stream, I'm like, the fuck? I was like, wait, what is the name of it? And it like took me a minute to figure it out. So I'm glad I caught that, because I might have been shouting out the kids show Creature Cases, which kids love. Oh my god, Creature Cases is such a big hit kid show. Talk about like how people don't emphasize how animation is different for people, or is consumed differently than people realize. All right, so now let's talk about my other segment. I'm going to take a. You know what? We almost finished the whole Prime. This is okay. This is fine. I noticed Target had not a huge selection of energy drinks, but a few. I had another one I hadn't heard of, but I don't know. Should we do Prime again, or just go back to the Rock stuff? I think it might. The Rock needs the money, apparently. The Young Rock got canceled. I didn't talk about that. Creature Cases, Shirt Tails, probably. You know what? If you brought back Shirt Tails as a creature, as creature comforts, that would be pretty cool. Hey, it's cool, Catbot. Thank you for being here at all. I appreciate it. All right. So now we're going to talk about Partly Cloudy. Now, Partly Cloudy is directed by Peter Sohn. The reason I'm talking about it tonight is because he directed Elemental and Good Dinosaurs. So he has real good luck with the box office. Sorry, Peter. But Peter is also known for being the voice of Russell in Up. He is also, I think I'm saying this right, gankily, in Spider-Verse, but only Across Spider-Verse. He was too busy for Into the Spider-Verse or something, although he was the original choice. But this was also the short before Up, which I kind of forgot because, so funny story about when I saw Up. I went with my friends. They were kind of sort of high, and we went to the Ziegfeld Theater, bought way too much candy and popcorn, and then we were seated, and then this rich Upper West Side nanny came with like these two kids who were very well dressed up and stuff, and she had to go to the bathroom, and she's like, can you watch these kids? We're like, sure. And then I remember one of my friends was like, hey kids, how much candy do you want? And we just like gave these kids a ton of candy. And so I don't remember the short at the time. And then I remember like immediately when she went to the bathroom, and they're like chowing down on candy, and then they still had a bunch because we gave them like a ton of candy. And it was like Reese's. I had Reese's Pieces. One kid had gummy bears. One had this. And then I remember when she came back, the mean look she gave us. I did not give them soda. I remember her saying that. I didn't though. But yeah, I remember she was not happy with us. But it's funny. You know what? They didn't die or anything, so I don't think. But yeah, she didn't tell us not to give them candy, but they did take candy from strangers. So I don't know. Kids from 2009 who are probably doing better than I am at this point. But yeah, anyway, that's I don't know if this will make it to this short, but that's my true story about it. Why I don't remember Partly Cloudy. Up was really good though, I gotta say. All right, anyway, back to this. So this is the short before Up, which is interesting since he was in Up as well. This is basically about storks. I'm not a big fan of the stork stories or anything like that. Sorry. I don't really like the whole stork idea. I think it's kind of a lame way to explain sex to your kids. So I'm usually not into those ideas. And when sort of watching this for the first time, rewatching, depending on how you feel about my story, sorry. So I wasn't like super high on that, but the basic concept of this is there's a cloud who makes babies from either animals or humans with their lightning powers, because that makes sense, I guess. And then the stork comes to the cloud and delivers the baby. That's basically the concept. And this one cloud keeps making like really dangerous animals, and this one stork is like kind of just keeps getting abused. Basically, it's a great actually short idea. He's not in Up? What? He was just the inspiration for Russell? Oh, god damn it. It's a real kid? That makes more sense than what I said. Well, we'll cut that out later. Hold on, I'll just do a reshoot. He was also the inspiration for Russell in Up. There we go. All right, that'll cut well, probably, maybe not. But so basically the idea is the cloud keeps making dangerous animals. First, it makes a baby crocodile who eats the stork, then a ram, and then they actually have, and this part made me laugh for a little too long. They made first looks like a sheep, and then the stork reaches out to grab it, and it turns out to be a porcupine. And I really thought that was really funny. I don't know, that was pretty funny. This is a great idea for a short because it's just like kind of like a Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner thing, and they just like keep perpetually getting abused over and over again, and that's kind of funny. But it's also a good visual joke. Peterson got the idea of this from Dumbo, which is actually probably has the only stork scene I like, and is also, by the way, my favorite Disney movie. So I actually like this short. It's a simple, great concept. It was not nominated for an Oscar or anything like that, and I don't remember people particularly liking it at the time. But rewatching it now, I actually think it's a good, fun little short. It's like a good idea. It's a funny idea. It's weird that clouds make babies with lightning powers and storks then deliver them. That's strange. But once you get past that, it's just a simple like, here's the baby, and then it's just every time it's a dangerous baby who will hurt the stork is funny to me. I don't know. I think that's a good concept. Anything that's like set up, person gets hurt, punchline is funny. But whatever. Anyway, I think this is a good short. It shows like, I think what I sort of, I don't know. I think this shows one of the things I like about any director who comes up with a concept like this, and just a simple, good animated short. I did think at the time, I know that people didn't like in the 50s and stuff, or it was the 40s when Disney did stuff with like cute babies, and when animation started doing that. That's not something I typically like, and it felt like it was sort of, the style was influenced by that, but he makes up for it by being this kind of like Chuck Jonesian, kind of like Tom and Jerry, Wile E. Coyote kind of setup, basically. I think like makes this like pretty actually funny. It's just like a classically good animated short, and I think the fact that Peterson could come up with an idea that starts like cutesy and like what the stork thing is, and then make it just someone just why we like cartoons, watching a cartoon character just get perpetually hurt, is pretty funny and worked out pretty well for Partly Cloudy. Okay. I really thought, why did I think he was, anyway, sorry. Thank you for correcting me, Ryan. And I have 2 Patreon questions, and we'll do real questions, other questions, sorry. And yeah. I'll move on. All right. Nathaniel Fogus said, if you ever had a chance to meet Kevin Smith, what would you honestly ask him? So it sort of doesn't work because I did meet him that one time, and I asked him because I was ordained as a minister in high school and made them let me write my name as the Rev Jim Gisriel. That's like a real story. And I told Kevin Smith that, and he thought it was funny, and he signed my comic, the Rev Jim Gisriel. I think I just told him, hey, your movies are cool. I don't know what I would ask him. I think going through his filmography recently, I was like, I'm sort of done with revisiting a lot of these for the rest of my life. But I'd probably just ask him, like, how does he feel about what's happened to comic book culture in the time and being at the front row seat of it, because he was at, I would honestly ask him, what was it like being the big movie in Comic-Con in 1995? Probably that would be it. So Austin asks, I think also Austin's the first one who said question. Although Mblood C says, are you trying to lose storks' jobs with your slander? That was pretty funny. Yes, I am. Fuck those storks. All right. Austin says, question. Hey, Jim, what a great show. My question for you is about a popcorn bucket. Today, They gone crazy. You can eat popcorn out Vin Diesel's car from Fast X or the Flash one, which is a Flash torso. My question for you is, what would you make the popcorn bucket for Barbie and Oppenheimer be? Oppenheimer would just be like an atomic bomb. Barbie, I guess it would just be a bust of Barbie's head like that, which would be weird. I guess the weirdest one, those are always weird. I noticed, actually when we saw Spider-Verse, and I mainly got a soda because I saw they had special flavors on the weird soda machine, those amazing flavors, and I thought they would have them for, because they said they'd have special ones for Fast X, and they didn't have them anymore, and I guess you had to have seen Fast X, and I was disappointed I didn't get to indulge in that. I guess also maybe like, I don't know who else would be funny. Maybe Indy's hat. Indy's hat would be cool. All right. All right. Let's move on. I don't want to answer Austin's first because you just got a question, and I try to. Oh, that's interesting, Ryan. Ryan figured out why I might have. I think it was just because I'm silly, but I like that you tried. Let's see. I'll answer that. Austin says, question, so you weren't high on the short when you saw it, but you were literally. Good one. True. Question, would you rather eat a baby goat or a mater baby? Maybe a baby goat? I don't know. That's a weird one. Question, do we need to cancel Spider-Verse because Miles' dad is still a cop? No. Actually, Zane Powers, I learned an interesting thing. I want to bring that up. This was online. But so, Miles' dad's last name is Davis. And if you notice, his name is Miles Morales, and that's his mom's name. Apparently, it's because whoever created him wanted him to name his name to be Miles Davis. But Marvel was like, we're not doing that. No, that's a terrible idea. And so Miles's name really would actually be Miles Davis, but in the cartoon they changed his dad's last name to Morales to avoid that. I like that they didn't go like, no, just change his fucking dad's name. They just like kept that weird situation that whomever created him made up. Just strange. Anyway, I've heard people say that, but I think I think they emphasize that not all cops are good in that. Oh, he also has a BLM thing in his backpack. I'm sure he doesn't love that his dad's a cop, even though he loves his dad. It's a complicated relationship, but I understand you were joking, and I answered it genuinely. I'm sorry, Zane. Cornbread, you think you'll review the Spider within Spider-Verse shorts that'll be out soonish? Also, you think you will go back and review the first Spider-Verse short, the Spider-Ham one, at some point? That is actually a very good suggestion, and maybe when those shorts come out, I'll review Spider-Ham. Well, Spider-Ham wasn't in the last, so maybe I'll wait if I'm assuming he's in the next one. But I'll review the next ones that'll be out soon. I'll review those. Embla T says, question, you think Wes Anderson has wasted his career because literally anybody could replicate his style even better? I don't know if you saw or responded to someone made a TikTok saying like Wes Anderson must be having the worst day ever because they saw another TikTok who can just replicate his style. The thing about that is Wes Anderson just posted like it's the one good box office news, which was like he had an insane per screen average just now, like better, I think it was better since the best one since Parasite, like the greatest limited opening. He just worked with Tom Hanks. Like Wes Anderson is getting to be Wes Anderson. Now I understand one of the things about Wes, and I sort of sorry I'm referring to Twitter so much, I just don't want you to think I'm repeating myself and not being aware of it. But I was saying, like, Wes Anderson has been directing Wes Anderson movies forever. He is sort of doing that self-aware director thing that, like, Hitchcock did in North by Northwest, where he's sort of, like, knowingly directing under his own style. And he has been doing that for a very long time. I would say Moonrise Kingdom was maybe the start of that, and that's, like, 10 years ago. But I do think people have that thing that, like, anyone can copy him. But yet no one makes money off of his stuff. Only he does. They just get, like, a bunch of retweets and stuff like that, and I guess they indirectly make money, but no one's making money like him. No one's made a movie ripping off his style. So I think, like, I know you're sort of joking, but I keep seeing this thing, like, until you can do what he does in terms of promotion and stuff like that. Like, I'm gonna review Asteroid City. It seems like a much bigger thing than even his last one, and I think he has another one with Michael Cera coming. So Wes Anderson's good. That's the hilarious thing when people keep posting these things, and someone generally thinks this on TikTok. People generally think this. He's good. So I don't. Anyone who thinks that doesn't know what's going on. I know you're probably joking, but sorry, I'm being too genuine. I guess that's a very dad thing of me on now Father's Day. I would ask him about the Scream 3 and Oh, good. That would be good. I think he just said they just got a lot of money for that, as I recall. What's the first after credit scene of film you witnessed in theaters, Nathaniel Foga? Probably Ferris Bueller. In theaters, I didn't see that in theaters. I remember waiting to hear like a Darth Vader sound in Star Wars at the end, and like the Spider-Man theme at the end of the original Spider-Man. The first one might have been Iron Man that I actually waited for, maybe. Medela Butter says Happy Father's Day, Jim. Thank you. Who's your favorite animated father? It might be Miles's dad. Hank Hill. That's an easy one. And Homer, of course. What are some movies you recommend for Father's Day? Major Mekazawa. I'm gonna finish Last Action Hero, so I know what I'm gonna. I would say first off, just like if it's your dad, just let your dad watch their favorite movie. Or a lot of people say let your dad like drink a beer and fall asleep to their favorite movie, which I would recommend also. Usually it's like war movies or westerns and stuff like that. I would say if it's like a movie about a dad and his son, I actually think Creed would be good. The first Creed. Creed 3 would probably be good also. I would say if it's a western, I can't think of a father-son western as much, but I almost want to go maybe The Searchers, but my only thing with The Searchers is you actually need to know John Wayne movies. So actually Fort Apache, I would go Fort Apache. Also, Father of the Bride, the original with Spencer Tracy, I really like. I watched the most recent one last Father's Day, and that was fine, but I prefer, in terms of Father of the Bride, I think the Spencer Tracy one with young Elizabeth Taylor is probably one of the best. And then, see, you've got me on a kick here. I think there's probably a million others, but if it's your dad, just let him pick what he wants. And even if it's like a dumb submarine movie, Run Silent, Run Deep is a good submarine movie. If your dad, I know dads like submarine movies. That's a good one. Das Boot's a little long. I don't think your dad's making it for them. Maybe he will. Maybe suggest it. I don't know. Okay, Embla T, what do you think? What's Kevin Smith's reaction to Nick Cage Superman in The Flash? I'm sure. Oh boy, where do we go? I'm sure he has a reaction. Does he still react to stuff like that? I'm sure he does have a reaction, but I'm sure he has something. Like, I can't imagine. I'm sure he'd be like, maybe he'll do one of those crying images again on Twitter. Cornbread says, is it a weird defeatist attitude how some people are saying elemental bombing will kill original stories when like maybe kids might think a young adult rom-com might be boring? That's a good point. I think, honestly, first up, Elio, whatever, is coming out. I do think original storytelling kind of stuff is having a bad time right now and harder at the box office for kids stuff. And I don't know if Elemental and Lightyear were kind of a bad 1-2 punch, whereas Luca and Turning Red were a really great one. So I think they sort of botched that. They should have maybe held back on that. I do think, unfortunately, studios will learn, and Disney will learn the wrong lesson from this. But also, Pixar movies, like, let's wait for the grosses to fully, like, let's see what it does second, third weekend. Because a lot of families are starting to go on vacation, things like that, and might be saving this to, like, let the grandparents take them to the next weekend and stuff like that. So, and there's not as much competition. There's nothing next weekend. It's just Jennifer Lawrence's movie. And then Indiana Jones is not a kid's movie necessarily. So I don't want to say we're out. It's not good, but we're not out fully. Question, do you think there's a chance of us getting a follow-up to Alita before the last Avatar comes out? If there's anyone who has the power to do it, it's Cameron. I don't know if he could, but we'll see. Question, do you think Ecto Cooler will be back for the new Ghostbuster? Cat fight. Guys. just looked at me. It could be. If you've ever had an ecto cooler on ice, amazing. I gotta say, I'm serious about that. Do you feel more films should have giant robot spiders than them? Of course, I think they all should. I'm surprised they don't. How do I fight off the allegations that I'm a vampire? Also, please make sure to not have any garlic around when you see me. No reason. I mean, I was gonna say I don't agree with them until that last thing, but I don't know if I'd invite you in after that. I don't know. I'm a little nervous now. Question: A Bug's Life 2 or Ratatouille 2? Ooh, I'd go Ratatouille 2. Question: You forgot to talk about the most important film news. I didn't forget. I just didn't want to. Mighty Movie, Paw Patrol Mighty Movie 2 trailer. I didn't watch that trailer. I pretend they don't exist at this point. Hoping my kids don't get into it. We'll just. Sophie's like, why do you always not? She's brought it up. She hasn't brought it up in a while, so we'll hope we get past that. Do you think that John Peters has seen the spider scene in The Flash? Well, I didn't know there was one, Nathaniel Foga, so thanks a lot. I'm sure he has. I'm sure they had to deal with him in a certain regard. I'm sure he has some rights or something. Okay, where are we? I think, oh man, it is late, guys. Let's just do a couple more. Same powers. Why can't every show be for my exact demographic? Sorry, that's just funny because I get what you're doing there. Planning to watch TMNT with the best dad Splinter. That's true. Let's see. Question: What kind of films did your father like watching? Mostly sci-fi and like Dune, and of course, he watched a lot of superhero stuff. He did like Spider-Verse. I can say that. I mean, he likes sci-fi and stuff like that. Cornbread. Question: Will Jim Gisriel Corporation make a short starring Steamboat Jimmy for its 100th anniversary? It goes in the public domain. That's a metaphor for why it's secretly a bad idea. Thank you. And I think that's it. Did I get everything? I might have actually gotten everything. Anyway, all right. I think that's everything. Thank you all for being here. Sorry if this was so late, and I hope everyone is doing okay. And just, if your father is in your life and you would actually like to speak to them, then, call them up and say hey or text them or something. If you don't feel that way, and tomorrow is rough for you, I'm very sorry, first off. And don't feel bad about it. They should feel bad about messing up with you, I think. But my dad is sort of the original word. But anyway, that's my take on it if you wanted to know. But otherwise, I think have a good night. Thank you all for being here. I think this was a good show. I think it was a good show. I feel good about tonight. I don't know. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for all your support in general. Thank you for subbing and liking these. Thank you all for the super chats. Thank you for watching me drink this thing. And good luck with everything. I'll see you all later. I'll see you all next time. I think there'll be one later July. Maybe I'm thinking of doing maybe a surprise stream on July 1st. We'll see about that. I don't know. I have a lot of cartoon stuff I need to finish, so that might not happen, or it might be a quick, just surprise answer question stream. I'm thinking about doing that. So just a word to the wise. There might not be an announcement. I've always wanted to do that, so it might happen. But there'll definitely be a full Movie Crap Live later in the month. Otherwise, have a good night. See you all later, and subscribe if you would like to. And I'll see you all next time. Good night.